Hey everyone, and welcome. I know that CMA journey can feel like a huge mountain of spreadsheets and formulas, but trust me, you've totally got this. Today, we're diving into operations and performance goals. And listen, this isn't just about crunching numbers. It's the absolute heartbeat of the entire budgeting process. And yeah, it's a topic you are definitely going to see on your exam. So let's get right into it. So let me just ask you this. Is a budget just a bunch of random numbers on a page? Well, if we're being honest, without a clear goal, yeah, that's exactly what it is. In the world of the CMA, budgeting is never just an accounting exercise. It's the roadmap. It's what gives all those numbers meaning and a real purpose. And that leads us right into our first big idea, turning strategy into actual numbers. See, a budget is never created in a vacuum. It all starts at the very top, with the company's long-term vision, and its job is to translate that vision into a concrete annual plan. For the CMA, you have to remember this. Everything flows from the top down. I want you to think about a company's goals as its North Star. It's that single guiding light. So if the big goal is to be the low-cost leader in the market, then every single number in your budget is going to be aimed at efficiency. But what if the goal is to be an innovative luxury choice? Well, that's a completely different budget, right? It's going to be funding R&D and premium materials. We budget to achieve specific targets. This slide here just lays out that whole planning flow perfectly. It all kicks off with that big picture, 5 to 10 year strategic plan. But let's be real, you can't manage a decade-long vision on a Tuesday afternoon, can you? So we have to break it down. We break it into long-term objectives and then into even more specific short-term annual targets. And it's those short-term goals that finally get quantified into the operational budget we work with day to day. Okay, so this is the crucial point, and if you're taking notes, you might want to star this one for the exam. A budget is simply the quantitative expression of a company's operational goals. That's it. If the goal is to increase market share by 5%, the budget has to provide the resources, the numbers, to make that happen. All right, so if a budget gives numbers to our goals, the next logical question is, what makes a goal a good goal? This takes us to our second section, how to craft effective goals using the super powerful SMART framework. Just think about this for a second. Imagine a manager tells their team, just do your best. What does that even mean? How in the world do you budget for best? It's a truly terrible goal because it's vague, it's fuzzy, and it's absolutely impossible to measure. And that is exactly why we need a better structure for performance management. And that structure, of course, is the famous SMART framework. Your goals have to be specific, something like reduce assembly line waste, not just save money. They have to be measurable, which is where we use things like key performance indicators, or KPIs. They need to be attainable, and we're going to circle right back to this one in a second. They've got to be relevant to the company's big picture strategy. And finally, they have to be time-bound, with a crystal clear deadline. Okay, let's zoom in on attainable, because this is a huge behavioral concept that comes up on the CMA exam all the time. If you set a goal that's so high it's literally impossible, what happens? Your team just gives up. It's incredibly demotivating, and it can even cause something called budgetary slack. That's where managers will purposely lowball their revenue estimates or inflate their cost estimates just to make their budgets easier to hit. So a sales manager might budget for $10 million in sales, even though they know they can probably hit $12 million, just so they can guarantee they get that bonus. This whole focus on making goals attainable leads us perfectly into our final section. The really crucial difference between perfect versus practical standards. This is all about choosing the right yardstick to measure performance, one that actually works in the real world. So what's it going to be? Should we budget for a perfect world where machines never, ever break down and nobody ever gets sick? Or should we budget for the world we actually live and work in? The answer you choose has a massive impact on motivation and, ultimately, on performance. This table here breaks it all down. And you really want to pay close attention here, because the exam loves to test this distinction. On one hand, you have ideal standards. They assume a perfect world, zero waste, zero machine downtime. And yeah, it sounds great in theory, but in practice, it's just discouraging. On the other hand, we have practical standards. These are based in reality. They account for normal levels of waste, and they include allowances for things like machine repairs and employee breaks. And that's why they're seen as fair, and why they're so much more motivating for the team. The key phrase to lock into your brain here is tight but doable. That's the sweet spot we're always aiming for. Practical standards challenge the team for sure, but they don't set them up for failure. And because of this, most successful companies use them. Why? Because they provide a much better, much fairer baseline for evaluating performance. So let's wrap this all up. What are the key takeaways? Number 1, alignment. Your budget serves the strategy, not the other way around. Number 2, SMART. Always use this framework to make sure your goals are clear and effective. And number 3, never forget the behavioral impact. Aim for attainable over perfect every single time to keep your team motivated and engaged. Seriously, you're doing amazing work. Just take a deep breath and be proud of the progress you're making. With every single one of these concepts you master, you're getting one step closer to earning those 3 letters behind your name. I'll see you in the next one.